Hello dear viewer, I think this will be the longest episode of this series. Since the base on Norvis is almost finished, we will significantly expand the other planets today. The normal science packs are produced at a rate of 60,000 per minute. Biolabs research at a speed of 444. And resource mining runs with a bonus of plus 16,000% thanks to mining productivity. The current research rate will increase to 1 million by researching more research productivity. We need all science packs in this quantity, and I'm going to start on Fulgora first. As a small side quest, I would like to upgrade all items in my armor to legendary quality. For this I start with legendary batteries Mark III. They are not that easy to craft, so I use a few model assemblers to automate this. However, the portable fusion reactors will be the most difficult. To craft them I need uranium-238 in legendary quality. Uranium is necessary for the portable nuclear fission reactor. We already stockpiled legendary U-235, but 238? Nope. Therefore I am now doing simple upcycling here with a recycler. And of course, quality modules. Here in my Norvis Mall, the legendary nuclear fuel cells will eventually be crafted. That will take quite a while though. Back on Fulgora, we have to quadruple the production rate. To do this, we will first copy the 15,000 science per minute block that we already have. To build on the oil ocean, foundations are needed in extremely large quantities. To be sure, I copy-paste the blueprint again, because sometimes individual chunks are not generated properly. I flip the blueprint horizontally, so that the rocket silos appear visually closer together. Here on Akilo there are about 2000 foundations in stock, but that won't be nearly enough. I will increase the amount of stone delivered by my spaceship to craft more and faster. The power supply on Fulgora relies solely on storing lightning energy, and it's already scarce. It therefore makes sense to build a legendary fusion reactor. To start the power plant, you need barrels of the green Akilo liquid, whose name I can't pronounce without breaking my tongue. I deliberately started with Fulgora because the whole process here will certainly take several hours due to the lack of foundations. This way the bots can handle everything on their own in my absence. Okay, cool, now that that's done, I still need to copy the blueprint 2 more times. Each time flipped vertically. And again, I will paste it twice, just to make sure. I can hardly wait to see this monstrous factory in action. Fulgora is considered by some to be the greatest challenge in the ultra late game. I hope this design delivers the nearly 60,000 science packs per minute. This is the Strider Akilo spaceship which, among other things, transports stone to Akilo. It only had 10 cargo bays, which is sufficient for 99% of use cases, but cargo space was really getting tight. I have therefore designed a version with more storage space. It will be upgraded in Volcanus orbit, because all legendary items are crafted here. On Fulgora there's nothing more to do for now, except waiting. So let's move on to Volcanus. First, the solar panels here need to be removed, because I want to copy the science pack production multiple times. According to my calculations, I need this block a total of 5 times. There's space for 1 more in the north. Roboports are needed so that logistic bots can bring rocket parts and fuel. On Volcanus most items are readily available, so we don't have to wait long. To enable 60 simultaneous rocket launches later, it would be wise to expand the rocket fuel production. No beacons have been used here so far. Dear viewers, it hurts my heart, but unfortunately the only 2 trains we have been using so far have to go. The throughput is simply too low and belts are just so much better. It's a shame, but there's nothing you can do about it. Instead, we are now building a whole bunch of turbo belts to transport huge amounts of tungsten. The whole bunch of big mining drills here needs to be rearranged again. Because with the current mining productivity rate, 2 units alone fill a stacked turbo belt. Let's now take care of the production of tungsten carbide. This block is a copy, no need to change the design, we just need it 5 times in total. 2 new blocks over here and more later on top. In the meantime, the new mining drills have also been installed. The old tungsten upcycler was relocated here and now has 2 independent mining drills of its own. That's a whole lot of material flowing towards the main base. To launch even more utility items into space, I built 8 extra rocket silos. That makes a total of 24 now. We've got 4 blocks for tungsten carbide and a 5th will be added later up here on the top left. What is still missing now is a sufficient production of tungsten plates. I will just copy the previous production block 5 times directly in front of the science production. And this is the end result. Well, the top block is still missing. To produce such massive quantities, a crazy amount of liquid copper is needed. It was therefore necessary to massively expand production. Several legendary pumps are necessary to transport enough lava to the foundries. Here, on the other side of the lava lake, is another copper smelter. This is the Strider cargo spaceship for transporting the Volcanus science packs. Something went wrong while upgrading. Looks like a bug in the game or something. No idea how I managed to cause that. Anyway, tearing it down and rebuilding it has solved the problem. This ship has also received more cargo bays. It will be transporting around 220,000 science packs at once. The advantage of more cargo bays is that more pods can arrive simultaneously. Otherwise, precious time is lost in orbit, especially with so many rocket launchers at once. On Novus, I now store up to 256,000 Volcanus science packs. Since storage space is slowly running out, more cargo bays have to be added here as well. With this amount of metallurgic science packs, low density structure productivity level 25 can now be researched efficiently. Level 25 is a milestone, because together with the natural plus 50% productivity of foundries, you can reach the maximum, plus 300%. Without using productivity modules. At this time, the last 5th block has also been connected. It was necessary to farm and transport a lot more tungsten. 14 stacked belts full of tungsten look impressive. Sorry again, but with trains that wouldn't have been possible. Now comes the exciting question. Does everything work as expected? The analysis of the production rate shows only 56,000 per minute, but it should be 60. What the hell is going on? It seems we are short on copper. The pumps down here show a throughput of 3000, but that's the maximum, meaning we have too few pumps. And there you have it, 60,000. With that we can leave Volcanus. Back on Fulgora I can finally craft the legendary portable fusion reactors, because in the meantime enough legendary uranium has been produced on Novus. To be honest, in the late game the equipment is actually completely irrelevant. Because you only work in remote view anyway. This also unlocks another achievement for us, namely no room for more. Of course, the Fulgora base needs way more scrap mining. I already had 4 belts and now 4 more are being mined down there at the other scrap patch. If you remember, that's the island where the Sushi Belt starter base used to be. It's been a long time. The lower 2 blocks on Fulgora are ready and are now being fed with 8 belts of scrap. To make sure that the spaceship for the Fulgora science packs is large enough, I'm upgrading to the version with more cargo bays. Because here too I want to transport 220,000 packs at once. The 2 blocks above are not quite finished yet. Additionally, more scrap mining is of course also needed. Conveniently, there's a deposit nearby with 17 million scrap. 16 big mining drills for 8 fully stacked turbo belts. With that, the Fulgora base is now fully operational. I mean, Fulgora operational. A total of 48 rocket silos will hopefully transport enough science packs into orbit. Since electricity is already becoming scarce again, at full production, a second identical legendary fusion power plant had to be built. Let's set off for the next planet, and I can guess you already know exactly which one is coming next. Gleba, the best planet in Factorio. Currently we are producing nearly 14,000 science packs per minute. We must quintuple this value. This is going to be fun. First of all, the production of legendary biochambers and the production of legendary capture bot rockets need to be relocated. Both are kind of in the way and are better placed up here at the cargo landing pad and the mall. I have made minimal adjustments to the currently used blueprint for the science pack production to make it a bit more compact. Therefore, the old production facility must also be demolished. To avoid having hundreds of Pentapod eggs in my inventory, I will stop the egg production before demolition. The blueprint change is minimal and only affects the arrangement of the respective sub-factories. Now I'm placing the new blueprint, which is more compact in height, so 5 of these blocks will fit into my current base. No expansion of the Tesla turret perimeter is necessary. The rocket silos are also completely unchanged, so I didn't have to tear them down. Next, we need Yumako and jelly nuts to restart production. Let's see if everything works or if there's a mistake somewhere. The production of jelly and Yumako mesh is working for now, but the game sounds are shredding. Some kind of audio bug or something. To restart the production of Pentapod eggs, I need to manually insert a few eggs into each of the lower biochambers. Looks good, the outgoing belt is practically full and saturated. That's exactly how it should be. I can now build this slightly more compact blueprint 4 more times in the south to reach 5 times 14 equals 70,000 signs per minute. Maybe you're wondering, why does it have to be 70,000? It was 60 on the other planets. That's due to the science packs spoiling. I assume that the packs arrive at the biolabs on Norvis with about 85% freshness. And 60 divided by 0.85 is about 70. We now have to solve several problems. The design is partly based on bots that bring nutrients. It is questionable whether this is still possible with 5 blocks in terms of throughput. If necessary, I just have to deploy more bots, I guess. Currently 16 rockets are launched simultaneously here, but if that later increases to 80, the question arises whether the mall here on Gleba will still be able to produce enough rocket parts. I think a refactoring of the mall is necessary. I also don't like that the bots have to transport so many items back and forth between the foundries and EM plants for UPS reasons. At this moment I'm still trying to improve with beacons and modules, but it won't work for long. The next problem is that I no longer have legendary biochambers, so I need to recycle some of the existing ones to get new legendary eggs and restart production. Very lucky, one has already been created. Only legendary nutrients from Yumako Mesh are missing. Production is back up and running, very nice. After that, something embarrassing happened. During the reconstruction, a few important belts were removed. No more rocket fuel production and a total power outage on Gleba. My reaction, I imported rocket fuel from Norvis to restart the power plant. That is, of course, a huge blunder, because I could have simply taken jelly nuts off the conveyor belt and burnt them. Jelly nuts have a high burn value and would have been very suitable for that purpose. The Gleba transport ship also needs a cargo bay upgrade. I will of course add this larger version of the Strider cargo ship to my blueprints on Patreon. I think a version without quality also makes sense. To supply the 5 science pack production blocks with enough fruits, significantly more fields are needed. Especially Yumako is needed in very large quantities. A few fields have already been added, which means I can slowly activate the second block. The mall has also been improved. These 2 biochambers for plastic production receive Yumako mesh directly from inserters. And over here there's now direct insertion of iron and copper into the foundries. Same concept, direct insertion of iron plates and copper cables for the green circuit production. The resulting green circuits go into a chest and then into the EM plants with direct insertion. The goal of these measures is to relieve the bot network so that they can focus solely on delivering nutrients and the rocket silos. Now blocks 3 and 4 are also up and running, because there are already enough Yumako farm fields in use. The 2 Yumako belts, however, are not completely full. I still need more fruits for the last block. Research productivity can now be researched at a decent rate, but the mass production of the Akilo science packs is still missing. So it can only be done in alternation with mining productivity. Gleba doesn't need that much electricity, as biochambers don't consume any power. But the rocket silos have a high uneven peak power consumption. I am therefore expanding the heating tower and rocket fuel power plant by adding another block. There we go, we are seeing nearly 70,000 science per minute, as I've now also activated the 5th and final science pack production block. It looks as if the Yumako fruits are being overproduced. Nevertheless, I am still building a few extra fields here and there. I didn't expect that all of this would fit into my Gleba base without an expansion, to be honest. Currently, rocket fuel productivity is being researched to test the entire production chain. After switching research, the science per minute graph initially drops because the Gleba science packs in the biolabs and on the belts have low freshness. These must first be used up before science packs with high freshness can come in. From here on I can handle tasks in remote view, like adding new fields. My engineer is therefore flying back to Norvis for now. the biolabs need to be modified to achieve the maximum research rate. There are now 2 extra belts for Gleba science packs. So far, each biolab block was designed for half a stack belt for each science pack. But the Gleba packs have reduced freshness, so more packs than usual are needed and have to make their way into the labs. I now use belt weaving with express underground belts to achieve this without major modifications. Eventually, we were successful in cranking up the science per minute rate while doing research, including the Gleba science pack. Very rarely does it happen that a bot, a piece of wall or even a laser turret takes damage. To continue avoiding damage and losing entities, I'm adding a few extra Tesla turrets. And since the power supply is once again tight with the maximum production of all Norve science packs, there is now another nuclear power plant south of the main base. For the Gleba spaceship, even the cargo bay expansion wasn't enough. I produce more packs due to the freshness compared to the other planets. I have therefore created an XXL version. 80 simultaneous rocket launches on Gleba. With that, the Gleba base is finally complete and thoroughly tested. One last important thing still needs to be done. Norvis needs a new rocket fuel production, and the oil refineries and oil cracking facilities also need to be rebuilt. Thus, the last remnants of the old main bus base disappear. Any moment now, research productivity will be at level 48 and mining productivity is at level 2350. The next episode will probably be the last one of this series. Exciting adventures still are ahead of us in expanding the Aquilo base and facing the final boss, Prometheum Science. Thanks for watching. All the save games for this Alpha Cygni base are available on Patreon. I hope to see you next time. Bye.